Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in the body's nervous system. It is produced in several areas of the brain, particularly in the substantia nigra, ventral tegmental area, and hypothalamus. Dopamine is involved in various physiological processes and has a significant impact on human behavior, mood, and motivation. One of the primary functions of dopamine is to act as a reward system in the brain. When a person experiences something pleasurable, such as eating food or having sex, the brain releases dopamine. This release of dopamine creates a sensation of pleasure and reinforces the behavior that led to the release of the neurotransmitter, which can lead to addiction. Dopamine is also involved in movement and coordination. In particular, it helps to control and regulate muscle movements. When dopamine levels are low, it can lead to motor symptoms, such as tremors, stiffness, and difficulty initiating movement, which are the hallmark symptoms of Parkinson's disease. In addition, dopamine plays a role in regulating mood and emotion. Low levels of dopamine have been linked to depression, while high levels of dopamine have been linked to mania and other psychiatric conditions. Dopamine is also involved in the regulation of attention and focus. Low levels of dopamine have been linked to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, while high levels of dopamine have been linked to schizophrenia. Involved in the regulation of the endocrine system, it helps to regulate the release of hormones such as prolactin, which is involved in milk production in women. In conclusion, dopamine plays a vital role in various physiological processes in the body, including reward, movement, emotion, attention, and hormone regulation. Abnormal levels of dopamine have been linked to a range of neurological and psychiatric conditions, highlighting the importance of this neurotransmitter in maintaining overall health and well-being. Dopamine release can be triggered by a variety of factors, including 1. Rewarding experiences. Dopamine is often associated with the pleasure center of the brain and is released in response to pleasurable experiences such as eating food, having sex, or using drugs. 2. Anticipation of rewards. Dopamine release can also be triggered by the anticipation of a reward. 2. For example, the thought of winning a prize or achieving a goal can trigger dopamine release even before the reward is actually obtained. 3. Novelty. Dopamine is also released in response to novel or unfamiliar stimuli, which can create a sense of excitement or interest. 4. Stress. In some cases, dopamine release can be triggered by stress or other negative experiences. 4. This is thought to be a mechanism for coping with stress and motivating behavior to avoid future negative experiences. 5. Exercise. Physical exercise can also trigger dopamine release, which is thought to play a role in the runner's high experienced by some athletes. It's worth noting that dopamine release is complex and can be influenced by a variety of factors, including genetics, age, and environmental factors. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a critical role in many aspects of human behavior and physiology. It is often associated with the brain's reward system, and is released in response to pleasurable stimuli, such as food, sex, and drugs. However, dopamine also plays a role in other important functions such as movement control, mood regulation, motivation, and attention. One way dopamine helps us be better is by motivating us to pursue rewards and take action to achieve our goals. When dopamine is released in response to achieving a goal, it reinforces that behavior and encourages us to repeat it. This is why dopamine is often referred to as the pleasure chemical, and is associated with feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment. Dopamine also plays a role in learning and memory. When dopamine is released in response to a new experience or information, it strengthens the neural pathways associated with that experience or information, making it easier to remember and recall in the future. Additionally, dopamine is involved in regulating our mood and emotions. Low levels of dopamine have been linked to depression, while high levels of dopamine have been associated with mania and other mental health disorders. Finally, dopamine is involved in movement control. Parkinson's disease, for example, is caused by a loss of dopamine-producing cells in the brain, which leads to tremors, stiffness, and difficulty with movement. Overall, dopamine is a critical neurotransmitter that plays a key role in many aspects of our physical and mental health, and can help us be better by motivating us to pursue goals, strengthening our memory and learning, regulating our mood, and controlling our movements. When someone has low levels of dopamine, it can affect their physical and mental well-being. Here are some potential effects. 1. Reduced motivation. Dopamine is closely linked to our reward and pleasure centers in the brain, and when dopamine levels are low, it can lead to a lack of motivation and difficulty experiencing pleasure. 2. Depression. Low levels of dopamine have been linked to depression, although it's not yet clear whether low dopamine levels cause depression or whether depression causes dopamine levels to drop. 3. Fatigue. Dopamine plays a role in regulating our sleep-wake cycle, and low levels of dopamine may contribute to fatigue and difficulty staying awake during the day. 4. Memory problems. Dopamine is also involved in memory and learning, and low levels of dopamine have been linked to memory impairment. 5. Movement disorders. Dopamine is essential for controlling movement in the body, and low levels of dopamine can lead to movement disorders like Parkinson's disease. There are several potential causes of low dopamine levels. Some of the most common causes include: 1. Genetic factors. Some people may have naturally lower levels of dopamine due to genetic factors. 2. Drug abuse. Some drugs, particularly stimulants like cocaine and methamphetamine, can deplete dopamine levels in the brain. 3. Stress. Chronic stress can also contribute to low dopamine levels, as the body becomes less responsive to the neurotransmitter over time. 4. Poor diet. A diet that is low in essential nutrients like iron, magnesium, and vitamin B6 can contribute to low dopamine levels. 5. Lack of exercise. Exercise has been shown to increase dopamine levels in the brain, so a sedentary lifestyle may contribute to low dopamine levels. Low levels of dopamine have been associated with a variety of physical and mental health conditions, including Parkinson's disease, depression, anxiety, ADHD, addiction, and schizophrenia. Some of the symptoms of low dopamine levels may include: 1. Depression and low mood. Dopamine plays a role in regulating mood and motivation, so low levels of dopamine can lead to feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and lack of interest or pleasure in activities. 2. Fatigue and lack of energy. Dopamine helps to regulate energy levels and motivation, so low levels can lead to fatigue and a general feeling of sluggishness. 3. Difficulty concentrating. Dopamine is involved in cognitive processes such as learning, memory, and attention, so low levels can make it difficult to focus or remember information. 4. Low sex drive. Dopamine is involved in sexual desire and arousal, so low levels can lead to a decrease in libido and sexual function. 5. Cravings and addiction. Dopamine is involved in the reward system of the brain, so low levels can lead to an increased risk of developing cravings and addictive behaviors. There are several factors that can cause low dopamine levels, including genetic factors, chronic stress, poor diet, lack of sleep, drug or alcohol abuse, and certain medical conditions. It's important to note that low dopamine levels are not always the root cause of these conditions, but rather a contributing factor. There are several ways to naturally boost dopamine levels in the body. 1. Exercise. Regular physical exercise has been shown to increase dopamine levels in the brain. 2. Eat foods rich in tyrosine. Tyrosine is an amino acid that is a precursor to dopamine. Foods that are high in tyrosine include almonds, avocados, bananas, eggs, and meat. 3. Listen to music. Listening to music that you enjoy can increase dopamine levels in the brain. 4. Get enough sleep. Sleep deprivation can decrease dopamine levels in the brain, so it's important to get enough sleep each night. 5. Meditation. Studies have shown that regular meditation can increase dopamine levels in the brain. 6. Spend time in nature. Being in nature has been shown to increase dopamine levels and improve mood. 7. Practice gratitude. Practicing gratitude and expressing gratitude to others can increase dopamine levels in the brain. 8. Take probiotics. The gut produces dopamine, and taking probiotics can help improve gut health and increase dopamine levels. It's important to note that these methods may not be effective for everyone, and it's always best to speak with a healthcare provider before making any significant changes to your diet or lifestyle. Our channel is dedicated to providing educational and informative content on humanity, nature and science, and we welcome any feedback, questions or suggestions to keep making contents that will satisfy your needs. Please be sure to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on new and next contents. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you back on our channel soon.